Hi, Elizabeth here from Psychiatric Wellness, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Spravato for treatment resistant depression. Spravato is similar chemically to something called ketamine, and both Spravato and ketamine are used for treatment resistant depression. And they work a little bit differently than traditional antidepressants. And they don't know exactly how they work, but they've got a hypothesis on a few different ways that they may work. Now, one thing that can happen in depression and anxiety also is our brains can get stuck in something called a default mode network, where basically, if you think of your brain like a computer, it's running the same program, the same thoughts over and over and over again, and we can get stuck. And so when Spravato or ketamine are administered, it activates more areas of the brain. So it can help pull us out of that default mode network. And in that way, it can help with depression. A few other things that it does too is it increases something called BDNF, which is brain derived neurotrophic factor. And that is a growth factor for the little dendrites or the parts of the neurons that connect and communicate with each other. And so you actually have growth in your brain whenever there's ketamine or Spravato administered. And that can help with depression. Studies have shown that increased levels of BDNF help with depression. Another thing that it can do is it's also anti-inflammatory. And one of the things we know about depression is that inflammation really can influence it. Inflammation can increase depression. It can alter the neurotransmitters in your brain, how your brain utilizes them, and can negatively affect your use of dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, things like that. So that's kind of how they hypothesize that these medications work. Generally, these medications are administered under the supervision of medical staff in a clinic. Usually they'll administer them either via injection, like a intramuscular injection. If you're using ketamine, another way they'll use ketamine is like IV through the vein. And then sometimes they'll use a sublingual ketamine, which can go under your tongue or in your cheek. And usually if you're using ketamine for treatment-resistant depression or Spravato, the procedure is you go and you have it administered in a clinic where you're monitored and your blood pressure is taken and things like that. And that somebody's kind of watching you the whole time while you receive it. And usually the monitoring period is 2 hours. And it's administered twice a week, generally for the first month, and then you go down to once a week, and then sometimes you can go down to every other week, or even once a month if you're doing really well on it. The Spravato is a little bit different than the ketamine. That's administered intranasally, an inhaler, basically like a nasal inhaler, where you kind of, inhale it like that. And again, the treatment regimen for that is really similar to the ketamine, twice a week for 2-hour monitoring in clinic for that first month. And then thereafter, you can go down to once a week and then every other and then possibly monthly. But both of those have very good effectiveness. Generally, 70% of people who utilize those treatments will see improvement, which is it's a big percentage compared to antidepressants alone. We don't do ketamine in our clinic. We can refer you to clinics who do ketamine, but we do Spravato. So if you have treatment-resistant depression and you are interested in Spravato services, we can provide those. Just give us a call and we can get you screened and see if that would be something that your insurance would cover and that kind of thing. Again, our contact info is 405-437-2235. And you can also contact us through the website at psychiatricwellness.org, and look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any more questions or comments about this, please comment under the video, and I'd be happy to discuss. Take care. And remember, from Psychiatric Wellness, your journey is our focus.